Welcome to the New Author Podcast, a weekly podcast diary starring Jerry Evanoff and Rich Casey. Join them weekly as they talk about writing, publishing, and marketing their books. And now, here are your hosts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the New Author Podcast. Today is Monday, January 12th, 2026. Much smoother than the first time we did this. This is episode number 341. We're having some weird internet issues, and we don't know why. We're blaming Riverside for it because we don't really want to blame ourselves. And I am Jerry Evanoff, one of the hosts of this podcast, and with me, and Rich, just like I did the first time, I'm going to say, I know how you're going to answer this question, mostly because I heard you say it about 10 minutes ago, but even before that, I knew how you were going to answer this question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Rich, how are you?
I'm a lot better than I was like 2 minutes ago, just because I love it the way that you talk over the intro music as if anybody can hear what you're saying.
Nobody cares about me. I got to change that anyway. Nobody cares. I mean, I listen to about 17,000 podcasts, and I literally push fast forward on every single intro that the person I'm sure puts so much hard work into, and I'm hitting fast forward. Just get to the top. So.
Right. Yeah, actually, I guess a lot of the podcasts I have been listening to. That's going to be a repeated thing in this podcast, that I'll be doing this suppressing of a cough. A lot of them are just opening with commercials nowadays.
Cool.
So yeah, you have to
love to get to that point.
Have to listen to 2 minutes worth of commercials, and then you get into the podcast. And then halfway through, they break for more commercials. So.
The Case File podcast, I love Case File. It's a true crime. I've been listening to it since the very beginning, like 10 years ago. And they're to the point now where they open with like 4 commercials. They take 2 different breaks. Yeah. But there's another podcast I started watching on ever since I started using Spotify. Was it Spotify that I use now? Ever since I started using Spotify, there's some people that do audio ones too. And there's a woman, I forget, it's called Murder with My Husband, I think. And it's a husband and wife, and she likes the true crime, and he just kind of sits in and makes comments. And they actually, they have subtitles when they're talking, and then there's no subtitles when the commercials are going. So I can literally just fast forward through the commercials, just wait till I see the subtitles and know that the commercials are over.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
So, yeah. We don't have those. We're not popular enough to get monetized, but we still have fun.
Are you watching those on Spotify or?
Yeah. I've been watching them on my phone. Yeah, them on my phone.
Because I thought you had a YouTube subscription where you got rid of all the ads. But
I do have that too. Yeah, that's like $14 a month. I definitely pay for that too. Yeah. All right. Well, do you want to just jump into this thing? It's been 2 weeks.
Let's start off with the burning question that's on everybody's mind that was never really answered, since we kind of missed some time in there in terms of podcasting. Is how did the fantasy leagues turn out?
Oh, we can skip it. I mean, it's not. Let me just say this. I was in a $250 league that I won, and I won $1,300, right? You'd think that that's like, yay, yeah, that's awesome. No, I'm so disappointed in the big money league, which just completely and utterly let me down. I was in first place when the season ended. It's 3 weeks of playoffs. I dropped immediately to 4th. Going into the final week, I had Derrick Henry. We talked about him on Christmas night, had 4 touchdowns and 220 yards. He went Al Bundy on all of us. And that put me in second, put me right back into it. And then I cannot trust the Philadelphia Eagles offense anymore. It's 2 times in 3 years now. Completely and utterly let me down. So I ended up finishing 4th, which was no money. So 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th got paid. I didn't in 4th. So very disappointing. I did win my money back in that league by having the most points. I paid $1,600 to get into it, and I had the most points, so I won $1,600. So I made my money back. But the other 2 I didn't, which were $1,400 and $1,200. So overall, I paid like $5,300 to be in 7 different leagues, and I won $2,900. So not too bad, but still, I'm just disappointed that I just did not win.
Yeah. I figured,
or even getting money.
Yeah, I figured just the way the games were going that might be the case. That's too bad.
Yeah. So, but you know what? As a Browns fan, and you as a Lions fan, we have a saying that we like to say at the end of the year. It goes like this: "There's always next year."
There's always next year.
Always next year.
There's always the draft.
Exactly. We're going to win this draft. That's exactly right. So.
We go for winning the draft.
Exactly. So because it is not only a new year, it is a new month. I'm going to give a quick update. I like to do a quick overview. I don't know how long I'm going to do this. I've been doing this for a while now. Just in case there's new listeners of what I'm working on, because I didn't do the normal write a book, publish a book, write a book, publish a book when it comes to the series like a lot of people do. I wrote one book and published it, and then realized I really want to write an entire series with a couple of through lines. And I started using the word through line because I know how to say that because I get confused with overarching and overarching. So I'm going to use the word through line from now on, like Elmer Fudd or Porky Pig or whoever did that. I think it's Porky Pig. And so I decided to write a bunch of first drafts. So I wrote the first drafts of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I wrote some novellas, 1.5, 0.5, 7.5, and I plotted but have not written yet 4.5. 1 is published. Everything but 2 is in first draft state. 2 went to a developmental editor about 4 weeks ago, and I got it back about 3 weeks ago, and I'm currently in the process of editing it, or actually putting together the plan to edit it, which I should hopefully be done with it tomorrow so I can start editing. I start the actual rewrite, and it's not a big rewrite. It's, there's a big giant plot point that will be rewritten, so lots of chapters will be affected, but they're just small rewrites inside the chapters. Chapters 1, 2, and 3 are going to be pretty heavy rewrites, but everything else is going to be just little things here and there. So, and there'll be like maybe 2 or 3 new chapters. I've deleted about 6 chapters.
And this is all based on comments that you got back from Super Editor C.
Yeah, she gave me a developmental edit that said you have 3 big problems. The biggest problem being your cold case 17-year-old murder subplot. The police would have solved it in about 4 seconds based on what you've offered up. You need to make it better. And she gave me some. This is what I love about her. She always gives me, not only does she tell me that, but she also kind of explains how and why. Like, she doesn't say, hey, that doesn't work, that's terrible. She actually says, here's why it doesn't work. Here's some suggestions you can use if you want to make it better, or you can come up with your own stuff. And I end up using a lot of her stuff and then kind of manipulating it. Actually, one of them I just used straight out, and then most of the stuff that she gives me, probably 4 or 5 different items. Like she said, make one of your characters a journalist, make it better for your main character to get information that way instead of like the police slipping in info, because the police wouldn't do that in real life. Okay, that's fair. So things like that. So number 1 was the cold case, the big subplot cold case that I need to change a lot of. Then I have the big kiss scene in the middle with my main character and the eventual murderer. And she said that's not going to play well with U.S. women who are going to be primarily your audience, because that's going to be looked at as cheating. And I thought, well, I was trying to give my character some flaws. This is a pretty big flaw. And she said, yeah, that's a really, really big flaw. You also can't have him lust after her for the first half of the book. And I'm like, oh, I didn't realize I was doing that. So I did tamp that down apparently a little bit. And the third one was I did not describe my characters well. She said a lot of characters kind of blended in with each other, and they didn't. You have 3 characters that have blonde ponytails. You have 2 characters with the same name, which I didn't realize. So you need to really do it. And then she told me something I didn't expect. She said, I know this is book 2, but you need to reintroduce and redescribe your main character, the characters that were in book 1. You don't have to go full on descriptions, but you have to remind the reader who they are, because I did not think of this. She said a lot of people are going to pick up book 2 and they're going to start there. Right. And I was like, they are? She's like, what kind of crazy whack job does that?
Well, and not only that, but there may be some time in between them reading book 1 and book 2, and they just forget. They may pick up.
Considering I published it in 2023, absolutely. Yeah. So those are the big changes I have to make. And my plan, I should be done tomorrow. The great thing about her is she said, hey, listen, I think I mentioned this last time. You can send her an outline instead of a developmental edit. You can send her an outline for $250, and she'll go over it. You put all the key points in there. And she said this is how a lot of mystery writers work with her, because they can put all the key points, the plot points, the clues, the red herrings. You put everything in the outline, and she'll review that. And then if you do go with a developmental edit, I believe it takes the $250 comes off the cost. I think it's not cheap. So she told me, hey, since you did a developmental edit, you can send me an outline for free, and I'll look over it. So I'm in the process of putting that together. And then when I get to book 3, which should be sometime in March, I hope, I'm going to work that way with her. I'm going to outline it, or take my existing outline, update it, make it better, and then send it off to her before I do anything. And then maybe I won't even need to do a developmental edit, because she'll find those things in the outline. So,
I wonder how many times in history authors have written their editors into their story and then killed them off gruesomely.
That's actually fun. I'll bet you more than we think.
Yeah, probably so.
I bet you it's a very common thing among writers. I was listening to somebody, one of the many podcasts I listened to, and they were interviewing, I think it might have been the one with the guy from Kobo, Mark Leslie LaFay. Yeah. I think he's on one. I think I was listening to a podcast with him where he interviewed a writer who was writing a story about being a writer, and it was like a murder mystery or some kind of a fiction. And he actually said, I think it was him who interviewed, who actually said, I really like reading fiction stories about writers. It's kind of fun read those, and apparently they're popular. So I actually was going to look into getting this book. It's not released yet. It's not released until maybe.
Was that that podcast is Stark Reflections or something like that?
No, maybe it's not him then.
That's Mark's podcast, or was he on somebody else's?
No, he maybe it's not him. Whoever this is hosts this podcast.
Oh, okay.
It's not Book Funnel. It might be Book Marketing Tips. I get some of these I get mixed up. There's Book Marketing Tips that I follow, which is a good one. There is what's the other one? Writers Inc. is a really good one. I believe that's two women.
Sounds more like Writers Inc. Yeah.
I think that's two women though.
Yeah, it is.
And obviously Self-Publishing Insiders. I think it's Self-Publishing Insiders with Traffic Digital. Okay. I think that's what it is. I'm not sure who the host is, but I think that's what it is. So anyway, okay. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm in the middle of getting ready to rewrite or make a lot of changes to book 2. Once that's finished, I have to go ahead and make some change, re-edit book 1.5 because I want my changes to book 1 to go live, my book 1.5 to be on Book Funnel, and book 2 to be released all at the same time. And I'll just move on to book 3 and work my way through them with a whole bunch of plans to on how to sell them, I hope. And then I have some marketing stuff coming up that I can probably talk about at the end of this podcast. So,
okay, great.
in terms of stats, I will say I have nothing. I have no stats. I did not do any new words. I have no words per hour. I don't remember if I made a goal last time, but either way, I probably didn't accomplish it because the goal would have been put something together to send to C, and I'm just not ready yet. So I have no stats at all.
Well, similar to me, I have no stats. But in terms of a review, basically where I'm at, because I'm a big fat mimic, I'm basically kind of copied what you were doing and started writing multiple books before publishing any. The problem with me is that I can't stay focused to save my life. So I've done 6 books, but across 3 genres. So I've got a bunch of stuff sitting there, and hopefully 2026 for me is going to be like you, a lot of editing. I don't have anything edited to the point where I would be comfortable sending it to C, not even in terms of an outline. But at some point, I think I'll at least do that for an outline. Send her an outline, see what she thinks about it, and and then go from there and decide how much more I'll do in terms of that, working with an editor. I'm kind of at the point right now where I'm just going to publish it, but I want to at least make sure the story holds together, and she should be able to tell that from an outline, I would think.
What's the genre? Isn't it like it's not cozy? Is it?
I've got romance, I've got cozy, and I've got.
Oh, you have cozy.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the one about the girl down near you in the bayou there? Is that cozy?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's your cozy? Okay.
That's the cozy one.
Yeah. That's the one I always think of when I think of the books you've written, because I know that's the one you spent a lot of time on. All right. So let us go ahead and jump into. I'm going to go ahead and recap as much as I can over the last couple of weeks. I'm going to try to stick to the writing stuff because there's a lot in certain instances, and I'll kind of work in the gibberish that I work in as I go here. So we'll go back 2 weeks. 2 weeks from tomorrow. We recorded on the 28th, I believe it was, in December. So it's still December 2025. This is going to be Tuesday. Again, nothing really going on that day. I played my football game. I had some audio problems. I had to re-record some pieces to overdub it, really get into the video editing that day. And then I made some dinner. And I worked on my writing app. This is going to be something you're going to hear a lot because I did this a lot. I'm almost to the point where I want to get this thing online and get you a username, Rich, because I'm working on the styles, and that part is really hard, the styling, because it's one of my pet peeves with Scriveners is the styling and how I really don't like what it does when you're using it. And this one I'm trying to make a little better, a little easier.
Right. Yeah, I was actually kind of expecting to see something, at least in alpha before now, but then I realized, wow, with the holiday, and who knows, you might have been sick too. So
no, I worked on it all. Believe me, I worked on it a lot. I made a couple of pretty major changes, including one last night that took some time. But everything's in there now. It's funny because I'm literally just using ChatGPT to write this. Like I'm saying to ChatGPT, here's my code, and I'll paste. I'll either paste 1,000 lines into the chat window, or I'll create a Word document and just drag it into the chat, and I'll say, okay, make this blue and give me a button here that does this. Then it just gives me the code back, and I plug it in. Most of the time it doesn't work right the first way, so I have to say, okay, you did this, we need to make this change now. And it already has the code, so I don't generally paste it in a second time, not for a while. And I just keep going with it. I'm literally going one piece at a time. I do have to go into the code a little bit and make changes here and there, but I don't like to do that. If I say, hey, make this font smaller, I know where to find that in the code because I've been doing it for so long. But I'd rather tell ChatGPT to do it so that changes in its memory. And the next time it gives me code, it doesn't give me the old version. So a lot of what I do is just let ChatGPT do it. And I'm a month, maybe 6 weeks into this thing, and it's fantastic. I've got book 2 stuff in there that I'm working on right now.
Oh, nice.
So it's wonderful. Yeah. So it's great. So you're going to hear a lot of this.
You're doing this in React, is that right? Or
yeah, I'm using React JavaScript to do it, and I'm using a database. I think it's called Suprabase, which is it appears to be a free web-based. Oh, okay. I've never heard of it.
I've used it. Actually, when I was doing the Fiction Academy thing, that's what they use as a backbone for a lot of the things that they did. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, good. And it's just like SQL, it's all SQL commands, so that makes it easy to kind of SQL really well. So, all right. So Wednesday is New Year's Eve. I woke up in a little bit later, and I wasn't really in a hurry to leave the house. Didn't leave around 10, ran some errands, dropped off Max. Then I went to Hothead Burrito, which was nice, and I had to take a second because it was my last burrito of 2025. And then while I was there, so here's what I had to do. I needed a start. This is a lot of what I like AI for. I needed something to start with when it came to resummarizing each chapter to send off to C. So what I did was I uploaded my entire book, the book before I sent it to C. I uploaded the entire thing, put it in NotebookLM, which I'm starting to really like. NotebookLM is just a place for documents, and then you can ask for stuff about documents. NotebookLM is great. It really does not. So far, it hasn't missed anything. I was 80,000 words, and I said to it, "Give me a summary of each chapter. Give me like a paragraph." And it gave me a paragraph, and it did not make mistakes. It didn't combine. It didn't cut off. Like, it really did a really good job.
So remind me in the audience, NotebookLM, is that a Google product?
That's Google's, yeah. Okay. Yeah. And it's not your typical AI. It's more like it's like a container. It's like a big folder, and you just put documents into the folder. And you can't do it from Word because it's Microsoft and they don't like each other. But you can put it on your Google Drive in documents or spreadsheets, whatever. You can then you put in, if you're in Word already, just save it as a PDF. You can upload the PDF, which is what I did. Images, all those things, and then you have like this list of things you've put in there, and you can uncheck and check the ones you want to use based on what you're about to ask. So I unchecked everything I had in there and only checked my PDF for book 2, and just said, give me a simple summary of each chapter, which was probably 3 or 4 sentences each. I grabbed a hold of the results and pasted it into a Word doc, and then I started going through it. Adding a lot of detail to it. So I just needed that starting piece. So I didn't have to type out chapter 1. Here's what happens. I just let the AI do it, and then I added to it from there. And that's what I've been working on the whole time. Then I went through and started deleting a couple of chapters. There's a piece in the end where I have the guy who's accused actually escaping from prison, and C says that makes the police seem incompetent. One thing I don't want to do in this series is make the police seem stupid. I'm not trying to do that. But I do need my main character to be a hair smarter to solve the case, or have better skills when it comes. The way I put it is, he seems to be in the right place at the right time to learn the right piece of information that maybe the cops aren't there, at the time figuring out. So that's how he did it in book 1. That's how he's going to do it in book 2.
The cops are too busy waterboarding the wrong person.
Something like that. Yeah. So I went through and deleted that 3 chapters there. I got rid of a chapter in the middle that he said it's just not realistic enough. The cops would never allow that to happen. Got rid of another chapter where I did it. So at least 5 chapters that I got rid of. And then I went into Scrivener and I combined all the remaining chapters. So if I have like Sam is at the dinner party and it's spread across 3 chapters, I just combined it all into one chapter. By the time I was done, I had like 28 or 29 chapters. And then I went through and summarized all of them. And I put like key points. I put stuff that have to do with clues for the murder. I also have an introduction section, so I know what characters are coming in for the first time into the book in these chapters. And I'm just about done with it. In Scrivener right now, it's like 6,200 words. It should grow a little bit bigger by the time I'm done. I'm hoping I can finish it tomorrow and send it off to her tomorrow, but we'll see. So that was Wednesday. Thursday, New Year's Day, I did not do anything except work on my writing app all day. And let's see what else. And I am at that point with ChatGPT where if you give it 3,500 lines of code in the chat and ask it to make a change, it breaks stuff. It forgets to give you stuff. It changes things over here. Oh, okay. It's actually a lot like me as a programmer. I make a change over here and I break something over here. Yes. That's how I live my life. So what I started doing now was saving it as a JavaScript document and then putting it into the chat screen. You can upload files in the chat screen, and that works great. It understands. It doesn't lose anything.
Oh, really?
It does a really good
okay.
job. Yeah. So I started doing that.
Well, that's really interesting, because that implies that it's handling input in the windows differently than it handles the input in documents. Where you think, I would think that it would just read everything in the same way into memory, but I guess not.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that until now. You're right. Yeah, because it has not had a problem since. And what it'll do is when it outputs to me, it'll output me a file to download instead of putting it in the chat window. Also.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah, so which I'm okay with. At first, I didn't like it, but I'm actually okay. It's working well. I'm in a rhythm with it right now. How it works. So Friday, I work from home all day. This is Friday after New Year's. I work from home. Played my football game at lunch, and then after work again, didn't do anything except guessed it. Worked on my writing app. And then here's something I learned, and you guys know that I'm a big fan of the Riff Tracks, which is Mystery Science Theater, the TV show. Mm-hmm. A guy and two robots make fun of really bad movies. It's fantastic. After the show was canceled in '99, the guys who were the hosts at the end of it formed their own company called Riff Tracks. And what Riff Tracks would do is they would do the same kind of thing. They would riff, but they weren't like in a TV show. They were just literally three guys off camera making fun of a movie as you're watching the movie. It'd be like if you had your three buddies sitting behind you and you could hear them but couldn't see them and you're watching the movie. And they're funny. They're really funny. Well, one thing they were doing is they wanted to do the big blockbuster movies like Star Wars and Harry Potter, but they couldn't because they couldn't get the rights to distribute the movie.
Right.
So they would just send you an MP3 and then they would tell you exactly how to sync it up with your DVD or you can't do it with TV with commercials because the commercials will get in the way, but you could still do it with like DVDs or just on a movie channel. It's great. And I opened it up and on Friday and all of a sudden out of nowhere, all these movies are on the app. And there's a Riff Tracks Friends for like $6.99 where you get access to a whole bunch of stuff. And there's a Best Friends. I'm now best friends with Riff Tracks for like $12.99 a month, which is completely worth it. And they're all there. So I'm actually going to attempt to watch Harry Potter. Because I tried once and I was so bored by it, I turned it off. I think I'm like one of the few people in the world. And it is essentially, Harry Potter is so Star Wars. It's all it is Star Wars.
Yeah.
From just plot point to plot point, it's just Star Wars. So I watched like the first hour that night, and then I was like, okay, I'm good. I watched an hour. I've watched it with the Riff Tracks guys, so it's been funny. I'll go back to it sometime in the future. And I actually might watch Lord of the Rings. I've never seen that either, so I might watch Lord of the Rings. Very exciting. Saturday, I was up early and on my way to Chick-fil-A. Spent most of the time reworking this cold case subplot. This is the 17-year-old subplot where C said I had most of my big problems. She called them plot conveniences, a lot of issues. And as I look back, like it's so funny how like when she spells it out, I'm like, oh yeah, she's right. That kind of is a plot convenience. I really didn't explain that very well. I got to do better there. I was there for a long time, getting most of the details done. But of course, the one thing I didn't have at the time was like that very last clue, the one that proves who did it, because that is the hardest thing. I don't understand how the people who wrote like Murder, She Wrote and Columbo could do like 13 to 22 episodes of a TV show every single season, because coming up with that every single time just seems so complicated.
Well, it's the writer's room. They got like half a dozen people that are bouncing ideas off each other, and
I just have ChatGPT.
Yeah, well, but it's not. I guess it's not quite the same.
No, not at all. No. So got home, worked some more of my writing app, played my football game, and hit the couch and was in bed by 10:30. Sunday, this is the Sunday right after New Year's. Up early, head to Panera. But first, so I'll wake up at like 6:30, but I'm not leaving the house till like 8:30. So I'll just sit at my computer before I even shower and just work on the writer's app, the writing app. And that's what I did here. And let's see, I got the Panera and continued to work on, I wrote a plot for book 9. I don't know why I do that. It's just book 2 in the outline. Again, trying to nail down those final clues. Still working through it. It's just tough. Once I was home, I did a lot of chores as football started. This was the final week of the NFL season. Very sad. I already missed Red Zone so much. But I did all my chores: laundry, trash, dishes, grocery order, all the stuff I want to do. And then afterward, working on my writing app and watching football the rest of the day. So now this is last Monday. I'm back in the office for the first time since mid-December. But I'm curious about this with you. And I was talking to a guy I work with this morning. He said the same thing. I love the holidays, right? I'm a big fan of them. I don't have to do much. I was talking to a friend of mine, and she's like, "Oh my God, I got to make sure everything's cleaned. I got to get stuff for the kids. My husband's worthless. I have to like make the dinner. I have to do all this stuff." She's like, "I hate the holidays," and I'm thinking, no wonder I love the holidays. I literally do nothing. I wrap gifts for like 6 people, go to my mom and dad's and get dinner, and I come home and I'm just sitting on my couch again.
Right,
So,
right. I think it's similar. It may be partly a male-female thing, but it's the same thing
probably.
with me and Tammy. Tammy conceptually likes the holidays, but in practice, she hates them because holidays to her means she's got to travel, she's got to go see people that she doesn't like, aka my family.
Right.
But yeah, yeah, I think we're kind of similar in that respect. I don't do anything. I mean, like a half hour before we're leaving to go travel up to Detroit, I'm throwing clothes into a duffel bag. You know, it's just
exactly.
you just go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So back into that. So I love the holidays, but I am really, really happy when that Monday comes after New Year's and I'm back into my just weekly routine. Going to the office 2 days, work the other 3 from home. I know when I'm going to the library to write. I know when I'm going to Chick-fil-A. You know, it's none of that. Is it open today, or do I have to do this today? I really, really love routine. I don't know. Are you like that?
Yeah, and I think the last time we did podcast on the 28th, I mentioned that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it's so much routine, but it's routine. I like to get back to where I know every single day that I'm going to be out of the house at work at the certain times. I'm going to be back in the house at certain times, and I don't have to entertain anybody. And it's not like we really ever entertain. And when my son and daughter-in-law are here, which they were that week of New Year's, they don't need entertaining. In fact, my son never gets up before noon. But,
what a life.
But yeah, I'm kind of the same way. My life does go easier if I stick to a routine.
Yeah, mine too, definitely. So I had my drive that morning, so I talked to myself, radio muted, about the story. Hadn't done it in a while, and let's see, what else do we have here? Still looking through here. So this is okay. So this is the first time. So this Monday on my lunch break, this is the first time where I really feel like I'm not organized, but I have everything I need across Scrivener and ChatGPT and some emails and some documents she sent me. Like I have everything, and now I need to get it all into one place. And this is why I really sat down and started messing with the Scrivener document that I got from NotebookLM a week earlier, or whatever that was, where I actually started updating each chapter a lot better, going through and understanding what I was trying to write. Really felt better on this day about doing it. After I got home, some dinner, not much of anything else, but I did start at the time. This was a week ago. I did start looking into what it would take to move my writing app online so that you could start using it. But I did run into one thing that I need to check on, which is when you send an API call. So I send an API call from my app to OpenRouter in the console in the dev tools. That OpenRouter API key is exposed. We can't have that. We can't have that out there. Yeah, I for me testing it, I think for you testing it, it's fine. But if it's ever something I actually want to put out there for sale, I can't do that.
Sure.
So I spent a lot of time looking into this and could not figure it out, and then said, screw it, I'll do it later.
Okay.
So Tuesday I work from home, and this is where I had my call with Ellie, who I met through Reedsy. Yeah, we talked. It was about a 15-minute call. We talked for about 20. She was very nice. She was talking about how it was snowing in London, which it doesn't do very often. I felt the pain. But I went through and explained what I wanted to do, and then she took it all in and said, okay, and she kind of talked to me. She really didn't offer up like, here's what I'll do for you. It was more about what do I want?
Right.
And then she put together a menu, as she called it, and she emailed it to me. And I'll talk about it at the end of the podcast with what she sent me and what I plan on doing. And there might be something in here that interests you also, so we'll talk about that.
But the real burning question is, did she have a great British accent?
Of course.
Okay.
It's a fantastic accent. It's still, I can talk to her for hours. I love it. Yeah, I love it. So after the call, I did sit down and during my lunch break and make a few small changes based on the stuff that I'm working on for this. There's a few small changes to book chapter 1. Had Word read it back to me again, ran it through Grammarly again, and then I pushed it into the Writers Club folder because I planned on reading it to them on Thursday night.
Oh, okay.
I planned on it. We'll talk about what actually happened. And then in the evening, nothing important. Watched YouTube, ate dinner, all the stuff that I normally do. Wednesday, this is last Wednesday. I am working from home on this day, and I did receive an email from Ellie, the marketer from Reedsy, And she sent me that menu of everything she offers. At this point, I had a pretty good idea what I was going to do, but I did want to read through it some more. I wrote in the outline here that I'll get back to her later this week, which I already did. I've already written her back. I haven't heard back yet, but I've already written her back. We'll see what happens there. Last Wednesday now, why did I do it twice? That's weird. Huh. I have Wednesday. Apparently I had 2 Wednesdays last week. Did you? I'm puzzled by this. I'm going to go ahead and skip that.
I feel like I've been gypped.
Yeah, right. You only had 1 Wednesday. Apparently I had 2 according to the outline. I don't know how this works because I have 2 Wednesdays. And I did these things too. I have another Wednesday where at lunch I went across the street to the library to continue working on the rewrite plan. I mean, because that was that was Wednesday. Oh, okay. So I did, So I did receive an email. Yeah, the call with her was Tuesday. I did get the email from her, and then I did go across the street to the library to continue working out everything. So I also moved some chapters around. I moved a couple of chapters up, and I've added another chapter at the end. It's damn near a whole new story. Well, not, but close. Love it. After work, I played my golf game Wednesday, which I'm really having a blast. I had a game that I started before Christmas. I want to get finished, so I want to move on to the next game, which I did. So this is last Thursday now. At lunch, I was in the office. At lunch, I worked on my rewrite plan some more. And by the time I was done, I had resketched the plot of each chapter. Again, getting them all set up in Scrivener to start the rewrite. And then the next thing to do at this point was to put key moments in and things like that, which I've started doing since then. And then I had my writer's club after work, and this is where I hope to read the new chapter 1 to see what they thought. I wasn't going to tell them, hey, my biggest weakness was description. I just wanted to read it and hear their thoughts. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't get to read because everybody else had stuff to read, and it took all the time, which was fine. I mean, I was completely fine with it. It's okay. Dan, who was one of the guys in there, he wrote a 7 or 8 page Christmas short story, and he read it to us in December, and then we had some advice for him. And he brought it back now 14 pages and read it again. So that took a lot of time. But he's such a good writer. I love how he describes things. I wish I could do it. He uses a lot of big words. I always tell Dan that whenever he reads anything, there's always at least one word I underline because I don't know what it means. And I think there were 2 this time, which was pretty impressive. And then after the Writers Club, sat down and watched some. Was there football? No, there was no football. Though was there college football? I don't even remember what I did. Who cares? So then Friday, I took a half a day, right? So Friday, I was going to wait until February 6th to start the half a days. But because I'm working on this rewrite plan, I wanted some hours now instead of just an hour lunch break to keep working on it. I want to get it done. So as of now, I have to wait until February 13th to start if I want to just make them consecutive. But I may take another one. You never know. I can just yank it out of somewhere in the middle. It's fine. But I did take a half day on Friday. I went to Buffalo Wild Wings and continued working on the plan. I'm getting really close to being done at this point. I was there for a few hours before I head home. Once I got home, played my golf game, had some dinner. I did attempt some more changes on the writing app that did not go well, so I reverted all the way back to where it was when I started and just put it aside until the next morning. So that's Saturday, where I did do some more work on the writing app in the morning. Okay, so here's something funny, Rich. I left Scrivener open at home. Because I'm using it to test the writer's app. So I copy chapters out and paste them in, see how it looks, things like that. So I got to Chick-fil-A and I left it open. Now I remember doing this one other time, and I think you said to me, "Yeah, you could just make a copy." And in my head, I'm like, "I'm not doing any of that." But what I realized was, yeah, it's really easy. Just click make a copy, save it somewhere else, and boom, you've got the whole thing, and you can just keep going. And when you get home, close it and open the copy and just work off the copy. It's very simple. Right. And I had started. When I decided to write all the books in one Scrivener document, I was still working on book 2. So technically I was working on the book 2 document with everything in it. So this gave me a really good opportunity to save it as just the complete series Scrivener document instead, which made more sense to me. So I did that, which is perfect. So then going through chapter 1 again, adding more things based on, I'm just doing the same thing over and over here, summarizing more chapters. I made it through chapter 10 before I stopped. I was adding in more things about the clues and the key points in each chapter. I wanted to make sure each chapter had some key points, because if not, it's probably a wasted chapter. I was there like 3.5 hours, which was great. Got home, and in the afternoon, I bought a new football game, not my normal APBA football, and I bought a new one that allowed me to play the 2025 NFL teams. I was playing that a little bit. It took me a while to learn how, but I was playing that a little bit. And then back to the writing app, back to the couch, and back.
The question is, do you want to play any of those 2025.
I do. This has been my favorite season.
Not
in a
the
long
Browns,
time.
probably, right?
Well, the Browns intrigue me because of Shador Sanders. So I'm intrigued. I will play them at least once. I'll play a Browns Steelers game at least once, but I want to play your Detroit Lions because I love Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm a big fan. All these guys, Seattle and Denver, all these teams that made the playoffs, it's so wide open without Kansas City in there. It's just been such a fun season. So I'm actually really excited about playing them. Yeah.
This is kind of a sideways question, but who are you rooting for tonight?
Houston. But, that's easy.
Yeah.
I would never root for Pittsburgh. The only time I root for Pittsburgh, and I apologize, Brian, if you're listening. The only reason I root for Pittsburgh is because it's fun to watch them go 9-8, 10-7 this year, and then lose in the first round, and then watch their fans just hate their head coach.
Yeah.
Actually, I enjoy that. So if they lose tonight, it's a pattern just continues.
Yep.
So I love it. So yesterday, I woke up to new snow. We did get 2 consecutive days in a row of no snow on the ground.
Oh, wow.
So, hey, that's the first time since Thanksgiving. And then, of course, I woke up Sunday morning to more snow. And I waited about an hour. I gave myself about an hour delay before I left. And the roads were just awful on the way there. We were going, it's 65 for me. I was going, 50, 45, 50, 55 in most spots. I hate snow. It's so awful. Embrace January, though. So I got there, and then once I got there, I realized I left Scrivener open again, 2 straight days. So there is a pink Post-it note right beside my door now as I walk out that just says "Closed Scrivener." So I see that every day.
Actually, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So I created I have one up at work that says "Pay for parking." So if I get to my desk, I didn't pay for my parking, I remember. So I did create now a Sam Morse Murder Mystery Series 2 file, and that's the one I'm working off. And I deleted the other one, so that's the one I'm working off now. And went back to my plan, kept going. I feel like right now it's close to finished, especially after today. Got up today. Well, again, not much in the afternoon, cleaning groceries, writer's app, all that fun stuff. And then today I got up and went into the office, and I talked for a long time. This is great. I went into the office and I kind of looked at the Scrivener app now with all the chapters, thinking, I think I'm done. I think I'm good. I'm going to go over it tomorrow one more time.
Oh, nice.
And then it's the outline. Call the outline done and try to send it to her tomorrow.
Right.
And then once I send it to her, I'm going to start the rewrite without waiting for her, because there's certain things I can rewrite without waiting for
the
actual cold case. So that was it. I'm home. I had some dinner, and we're podcasting. And that's a long wrap up, but we are podcasting. So
is it snowing outside or?
No, that's so I will spoil. I'm going into the office tomorrow also because we're supposed to get 3 to 6 in Cleveland between Wednesday and Thursday. We're supposed to get 2 to 4 down here. So I'm not going Wednesday or Thursday. I'm just going to go Monday, Tuesday and get it over with. So not yet, but it will be. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to get a little bit of cold snap here, but no snap. No snap. Okay. Well, cold snap for us. It'll get down to maybe 32, 33 at night.
That was our high today. Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll be in the 50s or something.
Yeah, it's nice.
Well, I don't have anything really to talk about over the period since we last broadcast on the 28th. That week of New Year's, we had just got back from the trip to Detroit. We kind of got the house in shape for the kids to come. They came in on January 1st, actually, I believe. Yeah, they came in on January 1st. Stayed through the weekend. Then the following Monday, I took them to the airport. We did the typical things we do when they come. We did a lot of bird watching, did a lot of playing games, Wingspan, playing puzzles or making puzzles. Took them to the airport on Monday, and then immediately when I got home, started feeling bad. And then by Tuesday, I had a horrible cold. And then by Wednesday, I couldn't even talk. So I did nothing but lay around and sleep. And excuse me, it's still lingering on. And luckily I had a couple days off in there. I had January 1st off, obviously. Friday I had to go to work, but then I took Saturday off and I had Sunday off after New Year's. Monday morning I took off to take them back to the airport, but then I had to work Monday afternoon, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And by the time Friday rolled around, I was dead. And sometime in there, Tuesday, Wednesday, I believe, in that time frame there, my mother went into the hospital. She had called my sister at like 2:30 in the morning. She couldn't move. Her legs had swelled up like beach balls, and she just couldn't move. She couldn't walk. So they got her to the hospital, called an ambulance, got her to the hospital. She had an infection, and doing all the stuff that they normally do, they realized that she also had these two huge masses in her abdomen, one on one side, one on the other side, on the colon. So then they're thinking, okay, well, she's got cancer, terminal cancer. So the first reports I'm getting is, well, mom's going into hospice tomorrow. I go, oh, great, here we go. But then as time goes on, it's like, well, no, she doesn't want to go into hospice, and hospice says she doesn't need to go into hospice because they don't know what she's got. She doesn't have, as far as I know, she doesn't have cancer. She's got these tumors or whatever they are. She's got no blood markers for cancer or anything. So they've done some biopsies, but it takes forever for those biopsies to come back. And right now they got the swelling down. They treated an infection that she had because she had let a UTI go for too long. And right now, the last I heard, she's been approved to go into inpatient rehab, and they're going to try to get her strength back up where she can walk and she can go home. So who knows what's going to happen there? It's it's really bizarre, but that just takes it out of you, especially when you've got a bad cold. So
yeah, and I feel like and I've never gone through this, so I feel like to hear hospice one day and then next day go, oh no, not hospice. That's got to be a weird. That's like the biggest roller coaster up and down I've ever heard of.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, my mother's 94 years old. It's not like I haven't kind of pre-planned emotionally for this to happen. It's going to come at some point. But to suddenly get hit with that at the holidays, and especially when you're feeling lousy, that just made it. And then I started, looking at, okay, how much vacation time do I have? How much, bereavement leave can I get? And it became a nightmare. So by this past weekend, when Friday rolled around, my body just shut down, and I just started to sleep. And I basically slept all weekend except for watching football games. I'd wake up long enough to watch the football games, and there's some pretty decent games this weekend. And other than that, I have done nothing, no writing. My plan is to get back into it this week, but my plan is also I joined another gym close to the house, starting to get up at 5 a.m. and going to the gym. So we'll see if either of those two things actually comes to fruition. It's been bizarre at work. It's been very busy and very hectic, and a lot of very needy people. I hope that calms down. I think
coworkers or patrons.
Well, mostly patrons.
Okay.
Coworkers too, but mostly patrons, because they've got new devices for Christmas and all this kind of stuff, and they're trying to figure out how to use them. So we've got a lot of those people coming in. That should calm down here pretty quickly, I would think, and I'll be able to get back to trying to get some kind of routine started for the year, which I have not had yet. Now, unfortunately, right now, I'm going to be working, starting today, I'm going to work 7 days in a row. I have to work right through Sunday. The upside is that because I work Sunday, I get Monday off. I then work Tuesday of next week, and then I have 6 days off in a row. So,
wow.
And as I mentioned later, and I'm bringing this kind of forward, but as I mentioned later, it's because the library's scheduling is done by 3 drunk aardvarks in a Christmas sweater. It is so bizarre how things work.
Nice.
But it'll work out good. I'll have a nice long vacation. Probably by the end of that 6 days, I won't want to go back.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, I'll get back to get used to how it was when I was actually retired before. So so that's where I'm at. I'm just trying to get the year started, pushing, and we'll see what happens. See if something breaks loose.
Okay. Nothing on your list of things to do?
No.
Did you kind of clear it out for the new year? Or?
Yeah, I cleared it out for a new year. I did have Substack in there, learning how to use it. I think I've pretty much figured it out, but I just haven't decided quite what I'm going to do there yet. In terms of,
we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, posting stuff. I do want to set up a I guess you'd call it a writer's account or whatever. Just to get some stuff out, but we'll see what happens.
Okay. Mine is still a lot of the videos and the ad courses and stuff that I bought. It's not going to be until I'm ready to publish something that I actually get into that. In terms of my addicted to, I actually have a few of them here. Perry Mason makes the list. In the past year or so, Perry Mason has just been background noise, but for like the last few weeks, it's literally been like, I want to turn it on and watch it. Because I haven't seen it in a couple of years, and I don't remember. I've only ever seen a lot of them once, so I'm just enjoying watching again. I'll put sugar cookies on here. Those ones that come in like the round tin.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so good. And I bought a big tin of those for our Chinese auction on Christmas Eve. And then I put a bunch of tickets in so I could win it, and I did. So I'm now eating most of it. And Max, my dog, he loves them too. So those are good. And then I'll throw a third one in here, and that's working on my writing app, because that's it, like when we're done here, I'll go to post. It's taking me about a half an hour to edit and post this. And as I'm editing it, and like things are like I'll hit save or export. It takes 10 minutes to export. I'll go to the writing app and I'll work on that for 10 minutes. And then go back to the podcast. So I'll get a post. This is what I do. It's spare time. I just tell ChatGPT, give me this, and then I go sit on the couch for 10 minutes. I go back and try it out. It's kind of how I work on this.
You're really efficient at that. I wish I could fill in those little gaps in time with something useful, but I don't. I just kind of vegetate or whatever, or just daydream. In terms of my addicted to, probably the thing that pops to my mind is self-loathing, probably because I gained half the weight I lost. I gained back. Which also relates back to this idea of getting up at 5 a.m. going to the gym now this year. So,
go.
I don't really have any food addictions. In fact, it's kind of funny is that the food really has been really sparse, because my wife has not gone shopping in weeks, since before Christmas. So we've just been kind of living out of cans.
Yeah, I don't have any food addictions either, except for this. Even the no sugar one, I drink these. What was the day I had a call on Friday? It was like 10 o'clock in the morning, and it was me and coworkers, Brian and Tim. We're like the three amigos of the side that we work on. We're always chatting with each other. She lives in Texas. He's up here in the Cleveland area, and I'm where I'm at. And I got on the phone, and I'm like, guys, I've already had 40 ounces of Pepsi before 10 o'clock in the morning. 20 ounces had sugar and 20 ounces didn't. So I think I'm safe, right?
That's a lot of Pepsi.
Yeah, it's still a lot of Pepsi. Yeah. So, all right, getting into my schedule then for this coming week. This is the week. I guess it was last week, but I'm back to 2 days a week in the office. The hope is that I can do Monday, Thursday. That's kind of the plan. But since Thanksgiving, we've had very few days without snow. Mm-hmm. So I kind of have to pattern my 2 days in the office around snow. Like I said, this week I'm going to be going Monday, Tuesday, because it's going to snow Wednesday, Thursday. I don't ever want to go on a Friday. I've done it. You go on a Friday and there's like 4 people in the building. It's super quiet. But by 3 o'clock, it's like, I just want to go home. It's Friday. What am I doing? And if I work from home, I just shut my laptop at 4 o'clock and I'm done. So, right. So I don't really want to go on Friday. So Monday, Tuesday this week, I'm going to try to do Monday, Thursday every week. Thursday's kind of the preferred day for IT, but we don't have to anymore. So you can kind of move it around. So,
you know what's weird about the way I work and the aardvarks and the scheduling at the library is that, the weekends come and it's just like, I have no touchstone for the weekend. The only thing I have a touchstone for the weekend is church on Sunday. But other than that, any day is just like any other day. It just doesn't matter.
You sound like my dad, who's retired. And my dad always says, I basically have 6 Saturdays and a Sunday during the week.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right.
Except it's different for me. I have 6 Mondays.
Yeah, right. So tomorrow I will go into the office, and I will continue to work on this. I really want to get done tomorrow. This is kind of like when you're editing a book. I really could stare at this thing and just keep making changes to this outline, keep adding things, right? And just and every little detail, just keep going. By the time I'm done, it's 100 pages. By the time it's done, it's pretty much a book. So I really have to find a cutoff point where I say, okay, I'm good. If I send her something and she says, what about this? I'll be like, okay, I just forgot that. That's what it was. So, So that's the plan. Is hopefully tomorrow, I have that hour lunch. I can at least, get it finished and get it sent off to her. So that means Wednesday I'm working from home. We have our book club at lunch. I'm not going into the office for this week, partially because of the snow, but also because I didn't read the book. I read about 3 chapters of it. I have no interest in it. It's one of those. It's called, is it Our Good Neighbor? And this is kind of a racial book. A black family and a white family living next to each other, and things happen. I really have no interest in books like this. I don't really want to ever feel like I'm being preached to. And in the second chapter, I felt like I was being preached to, and it was just like told that I was a terrible person. And it's just like I just have no interest in it. So I'll obviously go to the book club because I like to go to the book club. I won't say much, and then at the end we'll figure out what book's coming next.
What if the book's plot was about a computer web developer who lived next to a redneck? I mean, would you be more interested in a true
story? I'll tell you that right now. It might be. I don't know. It just depends what happens. Like in this one, I just wasn't a fan. So that'll be Wednesday after the book. So I will log into the book club at lunch through Teams. So I won't be writing at all. And then, like I said, we have snow coming Wednesday afternoon. It's going to snow between Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday I'll work from home and I'll try to write at lunch. Friday I'll work from home. This is a full day. Again, it's going to be a full day on Fridays for about the next 4 weeks. I do have MLK in the middle of that on a Monday, so I'll be able to write then. But it'll be mostly 5-day, 40-hour work weeks through the rest of the month and into February just a little bit. I can't decide. Like I could take one. Like I could do February 6th like I planned, and I just not do February 13th and just kind of move them around a little bit. But I really love the idea of getting to that point early in the year where I do every one of them the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So, so right now that would be February 13th. Technically, it'd be February 20th, but it's February 13th. So.
Do you know why you like that idea? Because it would be a schedule.
You're probably right about that, actually. Yeah. I did walk into Buffalo Wild Wings last week, and the bartender, she's like, "Oh, hey, how's your book coming?" And I told her, she said, "Yeah, I keep telling my fiance we need to buy it because he likes those kind of books." And I'm like, "Oh, it's up to you, whatever you want to do." But it was nice that she remembered me from like a month earlier. And so, yeah. So
hey, you ought to talk to the manager and see if you could be a writer in residence at Buffalo Wild Wings.
I mean, I am on Fridays for the most part.
Yeah.
So yeah. So then Thursday, Friday, let's see, Friday full day, and I'll probably work on it at lunch. Saturday and Sunday, I'll definitely work on it in the morning. Hopefully I can remember to close Scrivener each day. Chick-fil-A on Saturday, Panera on Sunday, and then I'll just do games in the writing app and watch whatever playoff games are on throughout the day. And then Monday back in the office, I'll go back to the revision. And we're going to start podcasting more on Wednesdays each week, right? We're okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, if that works better for you, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like the middle of the week like that. So we're going to start podcasting a little bit more on Wednesday. So I'm going to go Tuesday, I'm going to work from home. Wednesday, I'll work from home. I'll write at lunch both days. And then, again, we're going to podcast on the Wednesday night. What is that? The 21st, I think it is when we'll go ahead and podcast. That'll be the next podcast. Then we'll try to be weekly on Wednesdays. Yeah. So I'm sure we'll move around a little bit like we normally do because things get in the way. But for the most part, we're going to try to move.
Okay. Well, for me, I work 7 days in a row, like I said, and then I have 6 of the next 7 off. So by this time next Wednesday, I will be off for 5 or 6 days in a row. So hopefully I'll get something done between now and then that I can talk about. And yeah, we're not scheduled to have any really super bad weather, and we'll get down kind of close to freezing, but not really bad for us at all.
I drove by the golf course here in town Friday on my way home from writing when we had Thursday and Friday we had like 55, 60 degree weather both days. I drove and there was somebody outside golfing and there was like this little party that was like, just stop, just pull in the driveway, go play 9 holes. I just didn't. I kept coming home, but I should have.
Well, I'll tell you what it's been like down here because yesterday I picked a big basket full of sugar snap peas, and I got to go out there sometime this week and pick a big basket full of lettuce and spinach and kale for salads. Nice. So we've been warm enough where it hasn't killed all that stuff off yet.
That's good. That's good. I'll throw a goal out there for next week. I want to have enough of this outline done to send off to C. I hope to do it tomorrow, but I want to get that. And then I also want to I'm just going to throw out there that I want chapters 2 and 3 done and edited, and have 1, 2, and 3 done. Those are going to be the biggest rewrites of the chapters I have to rewrite. Everything else is just making little changes here and there. And there are a couple full chapters I have to write from scratch. That's the big goal.
Let me ask you this question. Does setting goals actually motivate you to do the work, or
it only motivates me because I hate coming on here and saying I didn't do the goal. Okay. That's the only thing. When I'm sitting there on a Friday and it's like I got to write this chapter, I don't really think about the goals that I've set, but I do think about it as I'm updating the outline or if I'm looking on a Monday or eventually a Wednesday going, I didn't do that. So,
one thing I've noticed about me, and I've learned this a long time ago, it's not just recently, is I'll set a goal and then I'll look at that goal later and say, who cares?
And that's because you really only have to answer to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember when Lindsay was on the podcast and I needed to do something by some time, and she told me that if I didn't finish it when I said I would finish it, I wasn't allowed to have. I think it was Sugary Pop.
Oh, I remember.
And it was you live like 500 miles away from me. How are you going to do that? But yet, if I hadn't done it, she would have won, and I wouldn't have drank it because I felt guilty. So I think maybe if you have somebody else to answer to, then maybe it's a little bit. But that makes it right there to where I don't like it.
Yeah.
Because I have to answer to somebody else. I don't like
and there's pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get the stuff to share. You don't have anything?
No.
All right, so let's talk about the marketing person I met with, Ellie from Riverside. She's very nice. Talked for about 20 minutes. A lot of, maybe the first 5 minutes was just kind of general chatter about it. Hello, how are you? Who are you? That kind of thing. Then I told her what I was trying to do, and she kind of told me. She didn't give me a whole lot of, this is what I do. She just said, I can help you here, I can help you here, but she didn't tell me how. I can help you here, I can help you, whatever, that's fine. But she was very friendly. I looked at her, the next day I looked at her profile again on Riverside, looked very good, a lot of positive reviews, a lot of nice things that she's done. It's not like it's just some new person and this is their first time. Although, I always feel bad for those people because that person, she had a first time where somebody contacted her for the first time and it's like, wait, that had to be hard for that person because it's really unknown. And maybe she charged less money. It's a lot of money. So. And then she did send me her menu. I don't know. Should I give the prices? Do you think that's private or?
Yeah, you can give prices. What the heck? Why not?
All right. So I'll give some of them. There's a lot of them. She sent me a 4-page document. The first one is something I really like. It's author coaching. This is what I said to her. And I think I said it on the last podcast. I wasn't 100% sure what I was looking for. But what I wanted was someone to hold my hand. I really wanted to be able to have somebody I could talk to throughout this process, not just once, not every 6 months when I'm going to publish, like whenever not whenever I want, but I want somebody to kind of talk to. So she offers 120 pounds, and now that I look at that, it's actually going to be less in dollars, right? It's a pound.
No, more.
Damn it.
That'll be right around 140, 40, something like that.
Okay, so this is a little more expensive than I thought, so I have to rethink this. 120 pounds per 60-minute call, and it's a discount if you book 3. It's 300 pounds if you book 3. And what she says, and these are 60 minutes, and you can kind of, I'm not sure. She says dates can be scheduled flexibly. My plan was just once a month, just talk to her, do it for 3 months, see how it goes. And if I'm really happy with how it's going, just keep going, book 3 more. And I said, when I first started doing this, I think I said on this podcast, I said to people, I don't mind spending a lot of money here because if it works, I'll probably make way more than that back by selling it. Mm-hmm. So if I have to spend $1,000, then I'm happy to do it because I have it, I can spend it, and if it helps me, then I'll happily take the advice. I don't really want to go myself. I don't want to fly blind here. I want to get some real help. So I did email her back. Now here's what it says. Here's what the author coaching these calls say. These are done through Riverside Zoom, which worked really well. We use that, and you have different bullet points: pre-publication strategy, audits, which means you can review a release strategy, advertising campaigns, etc. Cover design, I'm good there. Blurb writing, maybe. And then a social media power hour, which is she'll review your social media channels. I explained all the stuff that I do with social media, how I don't really like it. I don't use very many of them. And she said that's probably better that way, that you only use a couple instead of trying to master all of them. I remember the Mark Dawson course used to say the same thing. So I'm definitely going to do that. I'm definitely going to schedule the 3 calls starting in February, right around the time the book's getting published, maybe a couple weeks beforehand. Talk to her about that, and then talk to her in March and April about how it's going and what I should be doing marketing-wise as I'm moving toward book 3, as I'm editing book 3, moving toward book 4. So definitely going to do that. Then she does Amazon optimization, 300 pounds per book. I don't really want to do that. She'll help copy, revise, and refresh, which will help your blurbs, things like that. I don't really want to do that. Cover design or brand images, I'm not interested in that. Overall design, which is a whole bunch of design stuff, not really interested in that. Competitor research, I'm not interested in it, but I thought it was kind of interesting that she'll do that. 400 pounds for that, and she'll go through and she'll look at different of your competitors. Social media audit and strategy, and then some other costs. So advertising, training, I'm not really interested in that, but she has a newsletter strategy in here. It's expensive. It's 400 pounds. But what it says is it includes 12-month content calendar, which is 12 newsletters. I'm actually legit interested in this. So I told her I was interested in this too. This is 400 pounds. So it's expensive, but this is something I'm legit interested in. I want to hear what she says. And then it says she has, and this, I thought this could be interesting for you. She does have a add-on Substack setup and 4 copywritten pieces and a success kit for 250 pounds. I asked her, I don't want to do this because I'm not really interested in doing Substack. It's a little too much for what I'm doing right now. But I did ask her opinion of Substack. So I'm going to let you know what she says when she writes back to me.
Okay. Yeah.
And then there's a seasonal strategy for selling different times of the year. Social media management. So my guess is she'll actually log in and be you. That's pretty expensive. And that's it. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that she does. And I'm interested in the 3 calls, February, March, and April, and the newsletter strategy. So $700 or 700 pounds, whatever that equals in dollars. And she'll do payment plans and all that stuff. That's what I'm going to probably do. I'll sign up for it after I hear back from her. I get paid Thursday, so I might just go ahead and sign up for the whole thing then. And just start it in February. I might wait. Maybe I'll wait a month. No, I think actually I would pay now. I have my property tax due in February, so I'd rather pay now and not worry about it. So what I'll probably do is go ahead and sign up for this stuff.
I'd be really interested to see what you think about the coaching sessions, because you see a lot of writing coaches out there, and in my head, I can't imagine what a writing coach actually does. It's hard for me to imagine how that is, other than if they kind of act a little bit like a therapist for the author.
Why do I stink at this?
That's right.
I'm looking at more not a writing coach, a marketing coach is what I'm looking at her. That's what I'm.
That's true. Yeah, you're going to be a little bit different. Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about this. I know it's a lot of money, but that's okay, because if it helps me at all, like I said, I think I'll make it back. Pittsburgh's winning 3-0 right now, and I'm not real happy about it. Anyway, just I have to look up my TV. So I'm actually pretty excited about this. Looking forward to it. I'll talk next time about when she gets back to me. If she gets back to me, she should. When she gets back to me, setting up payments, setting up everything, and I'll talk about it. And then I'll definitely keep you guys updated as I have the calls for her and the newsletter strategy. We'll talk about it. I'm not gonna spill her secrets, but I will talk about how it's going.
Right. That'll be super interesting to see. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. That is what happened with the Reedsy lady, Ellie. She's very nice. And like you said, she had a great accent. I love that British accent. It's so good.
Yeah.
And you know what kills me is like at 20 Books Vegas or any of the writing stuff I've ever been a part of where there's a group of people, if it's a British woman, they're like the nicest, most bubbly, happy people I've ever met in my life. It's so hilarious how she get to her and like she's, before we even talk, she's laughing. It's like, this is great. This is the person I like because this person's happy. I'm always happy. So, all right. That is all we have. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think I'm amazed that it's over an hour. But it's
because I babbled for a while. All right. So if you want to get in touch with me, email me, jerry@jerryevanoff.com. The website is jerryevanoff.com. I do have a note to update that because I want to update my book 2 status, get that a little closer to being released. And I'm on Instagram, Jerry Evanoff Author, I think it is. And I'm posting every now and then there. I'm putting little reels up that I think are funny that have to do with like Andy Griffith and Perry Mason and Murder, She Wrote, or anything else that strikes my fancy at the time. So feel free to follow me there.
Okay, yeah, you can email me at rich@richcasey.com, and I'm on Blue Sky at the moment as Casey, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll be coming to Substack.
Yeah, it's exciting. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to y'all in 9 days.
Yep, have a good week plus.
There you go.